This is the second discussion on panhandling organized and sponsored by downtown congregations to end homelessness. If there are any of you here who are on the steering committee or the interfaith team, or you're a congregational advocate, have a relationship with DCEH, would you please stand? As you can see by the signs, we thought it was time for the evening, given the topic. DCEH is an interfaith collaboration of 15 congregations that focus their work and mission on downtown Minneapolis. These churches, mosques, and synagogues have a strong commitment to legislative advocacy on local and statewide issues that will address homelessness and poverty and the reasons why they are with us. It also sponsors educational events such as tonight's panel discussion, coordinates emergency direct services to increase the efficiency of their work, provides advocacy training, volunteer opportunities, and other actions that will help bring and find solutions to ending homelessness and poverty. If you would like to know more or stay up to date, or if you would like to sign up to get email action alerts during the legislative session, you can go to our DCEH website, which is www.dceh.org. So thank you for our signers. Just to try to be clear, there are several interchangeable terms that will be used tonight to describe the activity of a person holding a sign asking for money. You will hear panhandling, signing, flying signs. Those are interchangeable terms, and if someone means something other than that, they will need to explain it as we go along. DCEH sponsored a first conversation about panhandling in August at the Basilica of St. Mary's. And it used theater and conversation to try to raise issues about the laws that govern panhandling, about what people thought about the interaction between givers and receivers. But it was not really focused on answers. And the people who were there wanted more concrete steps, more guidance as to how to carry on that interaction. And that is what we are doing here tonight. We have a panel of experts from a wide variety of backgrounds who will speak to us about several questions, and then we will answer as many of your questions as possible at the end of the evening. With your program, you receive several pieces of material, one of which is the Class A card. During the evening, if you have questions, if you would write them on the card, at the appropriate time when we're through with our two panel questions that everybody will be answering, I will invite you to pass your card to the center aisle, and volunteers will come pick them up, and they will be sorted, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. Now, to deal with important things, for those of you not familiar with the building, the bathrooms are out the door where you came in, and then take a hard right just down the hall. Don't go back out to the open area, but take a hard right, and the bathrooms are there. Now let me introduce our panel of experts. You also have their names and brief biographies in your program. Beginning on your far left, Inspector Chris Arneson, Police Commander of the 1st Precinct, downtown. Kathy Tindrell, Director of the City County Office to End Homelessness and Director of End Homelessness. Shane Zone of the Minneapolis Downtown Improvement District Safe Zone Operations. You must have a very long business card. Then Stephen Cross, who is an educator of the St. Stephen's Human Services, who though now he is in stable housing, has experienced homelessness. Monica Nilsson, who is the Director of Street Outreach and Community Education for St. Stephen's, and the President of the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. And then Fred, you work in security and social services and as a community educator with St. Stephen's. Next we have Andrea Christensen, a downtown resident and member of the Downtown Neighborhood Association and a commercial real estate agent who rents a lot of properties in downtown. Christina Clausen is a brand manager for a large company located near Lowland Park who deals with panhandlers in her business site on a daily basis. And last but not least, Janice Anderson, who is the director of Christian Life at the Basilica of St. Mary's, a founding leader of DCEH who chaired the steering committee for its first 2 years. So let us begin with the first question. For you, Inspector Anderson, and for the first 3 respondents, what is the reality as we know it in downtown Minneapolis at this point regarding panhandling? And you might want to take that off and help you out.
Thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. It's a nice group out on a cold, rainy night here in Minneapolis. So I did pull some statistics. I always like to start out with some statistics because that just shows where we're at. In 2009, year-to-date, we made 321 panhandling arrests. And this year we've made about 50 more than that, about 371 panhandling arrests. And what we charge people with is, it's called begging panhandling, and it's aggressive panhandling, or interfering with pedestrian traffic. And one of the things that we found downtown is that when people sit on sidewalks and their feet are out, or they're stopping people from movement, if they have to go around that person to continue on their way, then we can take a person interfering with pedestrian traffic. So just a little statistics. I've been in the Minneapolis Police Department 25 years, and I've been downtown for a year, but previous to that I was out here in the 5th Precinct for 5.5 years. And the first complaint I got downtown was what they most did not like about working and living downtown was the panhandling. It really made people feel unsafe. And so that was one of my goals for the year, is to reduce panhandling downtown. And when I looked at the statistics of where these arrests, or citations for the most part, were happening, it's along Hennepin Avenue and Nicollet Mall. And you'll see, for those of you who drive, as you come into downtown on Hennepin Avenue from Lindale, there's a pocket there where people like to sign or panhandle. And there are different areas in the city where you can see this, but most of our panhandling is done downtown. And again, what I was hearing from the business community is it really makes people feel very unsafe. They always feel like they're going to become a victim of a crime because someone is panhandling. And we know that's not true, but perception is reality for us. So to make things safer downtown, or the perception of safety is, that's what we were working on for a very long time, is to reduce the panhandling going on legally.
Great. Well, I feel like, once again, Kathy Tenbrook, I'm the director of the Office to End Homelessness in Minneapolis and Hennepin County, and I feel like our job for the first part of this conversation is to help sort of set the context of the big picture about this issue. And so if I could just back up for 1 second, and most people may know this, but not everybody, but in 2006, this community actually created a plan to end homelessness for men, women, children, and youth throughout Hennepin County. This plan is now being implemented by about 125 partnering agencies throughout Hennepin County. They have collectively assisted thousands of people into housing in the first 4 years of our effort. Truly remarkable work. But the reality is when we started our work at the beginning of 2007, that was at the exact same time that the economy took its turn. So we have been working against the flow, as you might want to say, for these 4 years, with some pretty remarkable results. But we are seeing more people falling into homelessness now, or on the brink of homelessness, than we have ever seen, at least in all my 17 years of working on this issue. It is, people are just so on the edge and so on the brink because of the poverty they're living in now. And thanks to the amazing work of so many partnering agencies, we aren't seeing in this community what some cities are seeing across the country. We have actually averted a much larger crisis, even in this economy. So lots of my colleagues in cities around the country are describing cities with tent cities popping up in downtowns, long waiting lists for families, entire families on long waiting lists just to get into shelter. So in the meantime, families are living in cars or in abandoned buildings while they're waiting to get into shelter. So while we're working tirelessly on this issue, the need is huge, and so the community response is going to have to be even bigger, frankly. So I cannot say with certainty, although it was helpful to hear the statistics, I cannot say with certainty if panhandling itself has truly increased during those 4 years, although maybe aggressive solicitation arrests certainly have. But I can say with certainty that the vast majority of people panhandling on the streets in Minneapolis have very real needs that deserve attention. Whether that is support they need for mental health issues, physical health issues, chemical health issues, addressing their poverty, or helping them access stable housing. Simply telling people not to give money to panhandlers isn't going to be enough. We need to provide services and housing that people need. Otherwise, we will not improve lives, we'll continue to see livability issues, and we'll continue to spend a great deal of public taxpayer dollars on those folks. Just real quick, a few years ago in our office, Matthew Ayers in the office in homelessness did a survey of people who were legally panhandling. So not the folks who were aggressively soliciting who were getting arrested, but people who were just sitting, holding signs. And the survey showed a couple of things. That about 43 of the 45 people surveyed were actually homeless. Most of them met the definition of long-term homeless. 21 of the 45 had reported a long-term disability, including mental health issues, lots of visits to the hospital, psychiatric units, detox center, jails, and the average amount of income made in one day was $25, so about $5.88 per hour. People often want to know that. You hear all kinds of things out there about people making hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Almost everybody interviewed said that it was very demeaning for them and that they did not want to be panhandling but didn't know what their choice was. So the bottom line is that it's undignified for all of us. We can do better. And I think that tonight, after we talk about the circumstances, we're going to spend some part of this evening talking about the solutions as well.
Hello, Shane Zahn, the Downtown Improvement Safety and Operations. Kind of give a little history. I worked for Target Corporation for 9 years, and they put me on a Safe City project. And in 2007, the Downtown Council did a perception survey, really on public safety. Over 6,500 respondents to this survey, business community, felt panhandling was the #1 safety concern. So in 2009, the Downtown Improvement District was funded, and they launched that exact same perception survey with multiple questions on safety questions, you name it, safety, green. And one of the things that I found really interesting is some of the comments, some of the people who responded to the survey were, I thought I'd just read a few of them. And really just give some drill down to what makes panhandling unsafe, or what makes them unsafe about panhandling. So, here's one comment. Panhandlers loitering makes me feel most unsafe. Homeless men picking on younger women and courting them for money without giving them a choice. These are actual comments coming from survey respondents. Waiting to the bus, panhandlers come up and try to intimidate you. Homeless people demanding money, cussing you out when you don't give them a cigarette or money. Panhandlers loitering in groups. I feel like waiting for the bus makes me a sitting target for solicitation of panhandlers. Some other ones that were saying, I'm tired of being asked for money, and I'm tired of verbally being abused when I say no. I'm afraid of people asking for money will get frustrated and not go to church or public assistance places for help. Instead, choose to steal purses or passerbyers. Groups of people standing around asking for money